Often in movies, you'll see that the quiet Midwest town is the norm for horror films. In reality, most of the real-life towns are uninteresting and don't live up to their Hollywood counterparts. But in this story, fiction became reality. Townsville is a small town in Nebraska with a population of only a few hundred. It's not connected to any major road in the area, so very few people bother to go to the town. The only shop is a small Dollar General, with the nearest major supermarket being 30 miles away. Most of the town works in agricultural positions, mainly in corn farming. Phone signals barely reach the area, so their only connection to the outside world for most is a computer located in the local library, which still runs on dial-up. It seems that this town wouldn't be the site of any tragic event, but unfortunately, that was not to be the case. Albert Dover is a resident of the small town. He, like many others, works in agriculture. Specifically, he operates a corn harvester. He had a daughter, a 4-year-old named Olivia Dover, who is a neighbor described as the prettiest and kindest girl you'd ever meet. It was common for Olivia to ride with her father in the harvester during the summer months when school was out, and his employer didn't mind. Meaning Olivia and her father had a very strong bond, which only makes this case harder to listen to. It was during a seemingly ordinary day that the young girl's life was cut short, and painfully by a man. Donald Tucker, born August 30th, 1979, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, was a troubled boy to say the least. He was abused by his alcoholic mother, who would leave the boy by himself in their house for hours at a time, during which he would stare at the ceiling holding back what's on his mind. His father rarely made an appearance in his life, but when he did it, was usually to sleep at the house floor, during which he would use many illegal substances, such as crack cocaine. Donald was deeply depressed during his early life, attempting to take his life 7 times. The 7th time almost succeeded, but ultimately he was hospitalized after a neighbor noticed the boy with bleeding wrists crying in the yard. After this, Child Protective Services took the child away, and from there he was placed in different foster homes, never being able to stick to one. When he turned 18, Donald was left homeless, and for the next 39 years he was left on the streets, wandering in and out of homeless shelters, during which he became more and more mentally unstable. This culminated in an incident in which he killed a young man and stole his car. This led to a police chase in which he crossed the border over to Nebraska, and by an unfortunate turn of events, found his next victim. We will talk more about this after a word from our sponsor. Do you like cool things that are cool? Do you like games with engaging stories that challenge your perception of the world? Do you want a game with amazing graphics and highly innovative battle mechanics that give you the adrenaline rush not even extreme sports can give you? If so, you should download Heroes of the Dawn. Heroes of the Dawn was created by Service Camp Antics Maryland. Heroes of the Dawn has been given a 4.9 on the Google Play Store, running on console-level graphics. According to one reviewer, it is the best mobile game on the market yet. Remember to join my clan under the name Gamer from Mars, and use my code GamerMars to receive 80 gold and 100 silver, alongside one rare hero absolutely free. Heroes of the Dawn, play now. During Donald's interstate police chase, he decided to take refuge in a cornfield he stumbled upon. From there he planned to simply wait until night. From there, he would start moving once again. While his plan was to simply stay put, an unexpected visitor changed his mindset into pure evil, and the unfortunate victim was Olivia Dover. Olivia was with her father when she said she wanted some water, having no clue that a dangerous and mentally unstable criminal was nearby. He let her walk towards the well just outside the field by herself, thinking she'd find a way back to the main building by herself. Even though there was a statewide alert that Donald was loose, the small town couldn't be reached, thus leaving them completely clueless as to the danger lurking about. During her walk, she ran into Donald, who, being mentally unstable, kidnapped the child, taking her to his car and shutting her mouth with tape. From there he carried her off to a nearby wooded area, raping the young girl for 2 hours. Donald even stated that during the event, he forced her to act out many fetishes, which I will not list here. During the event, the father and the residents desperately searched for the girl, to no avail. Since there were no police in the town, and there was no cell phone reception, the people had to drive to the nearest town to alert authorities. When bloodhounds searched the area, they found the remains of was once Olivia. It was reported that she was cut open by some sort of sharp object. Her chest and stomach regions were cut open. Internal organs were spilled out across the grass. Her pelvis was crushed by a large, heavy object, most likely as an attempt to hide the fact she had been raped. Her legs had been cut into small slices. Her head was decapitated, and her face was cut off, left hanging off of a nearby branch. One officer wrote, "It's worse than any horror film I've ever seen." Donald was found 30 miles north of the crime, pulled over by an officer for speeding, thankfully. The officer recognized him and arrested him. During his trial, he stated that he was deeply sorry for the pain I put that little girl through. If I could, I'd experience it all myself just so she doesn't have to. It's the biggest regret of my life. Please, forgive me. The jury did not empathize with Donald, and he was sentenced to 50 years without parole. Ever since the death of his daughter, the mental state of Albert has been slowly deteriorating. Just recently he was put under house arrest for running around naked in the town, banging on doors, yelling that Christ is coming. This is a story where no one wins in the end, and that might be scarier than any horror movie.
Hey everybody, and thank you so much for making it to the end of this video today. It's really appreciated. And as for the question of the day, somebody wants to know if I'll ever bring back the podcast. And I think I remember answering this one before, but I'll answer it again. The thing with the podcast is that I made it after the adpocalypse happened and I was trying to come up with new revenue streams, and I thought that having sponsored messages on a podcast would be the way to do that, so I tested it out. But what ended up happening is I found other ways that I could increase my revenue a little bit better than that, and scheduling them and getting it all worked out ended up being more work than I believed it was going to be when I started it up, so I ended up putting it on hiatus. Now that I think about it, back then I did a podcast with Adam from Your Movie Sucks, and I never uploaded it to the public, and I kind of feel bad about that. I spent an hour of his time, and he didn't even get any promotion, and it never saw the light of day, so I may upload that one at some point. Other than that, making new ones, it's up in the air. I may start making new ones at some point in the future, but for now it's not going to happen. But anything's possible, and I listen to podcasts every single day, so I do have an interest in them. It's not like I'm trying to cash in. At this point, I'd just be doing it for fun. So yeah, that's my answer. The podcast may come back in some form in the near future, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I'll end the video right here, and until next time, thanks for watching. L'amor, l'amor t'adore.